Thanks so much for joining us here at 5. I'm John Adams. We're going to start with the latest on our weather impact alert for heavy storms. Today, Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue responded to the Oregon Golf Club in West Lynn, where a golfer was struck by lightning. Fortunately, he regained consciousness and was taken to an area burn center. Just before 4 o'clock, a tornado warning expired over Malala. Elsewhere, we've seen heavy downpours and thunderstorms, and we're not done with those storms just yet. Let's check in with meteorologist Joe Ranieri with a look at our weather impact alert. Joe?
John, that weather impact alert will continue the next couple of hours. Now, it's set to expire right around sunset tonight, just about 9 o'clock this evening or so. But as we look at the radar right now, we're still looking at some very active weather, especially in the Clackamas County area. And so far this afternoon, that's where most of the severe weather has been. Again, like you said, John, just right around 4 o'clock, just before 4, there was a tornado warning that was issued. Very rare. These hardly ever happen in our weather area, but yeah, it was just the right ingredients with the upper level storms that we've been seeing. And I'll kind of zoom out a little bit and kind of show you what looks to be a little almost like a kidney bean shape. That's kind of indicative of some little rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere and through parts of Clackamas County and off to the foothills of the mountains, where is some of the really intense weather has been. Heavy downpours, lightning strikes, and we're not out of the woods. We're still expected to see more severe weather here the next couple of hours. But as we go into early tomorrow morning, things will start to calm down for your Sunday. Mostly cloudy skies, still unseasonably cool, not just tomorrow, but really over the next couple of days. But we're not going to be seeing really the active weather that we have been seeing so far this afternoon. So the weather impact alert will be in effect here the next couple of hours between now and 9 p.m. Still can't rule out the chance to see heavy downpours, some thunderstorms, and the potential for some funnel clouds as well. That warning that was issued by the National Weather Service was because of a funnel cloud that was spotted. No reports of any damage, but still that's something we could be seeing throughout much of the metro area over the next couple of hours. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. And if you're in a safe area from the storms, we could use your help boosting our weather coverage. Send us your photos and videos of the conditions in your area by texting us at the number on your screen. That's 503-226-5088. Well, in other news, after a Portland birth center abruptly closed this month, moms and dads were invited back with their kids to say goodbye. Our Jake Holter was there and joins us now from the newsroom. Jake, what did parents have to say?
Yeah, John, it was both shock and sadness from people who had chosen Andaluz Water Birth Center to bring their children into the world to know that this would be the last time they would be inside.
They were both born in this tub.
Andaluz Water Birth Center in Southwest Portland, an important piece of Wong family history, but that chapter is now over.
I was hoping to have more kids here. I was hoping to have all the following kids here, so.
The center is closed after employees said they hadn't been paid in nearly a month.
You just come in here and you see them, and they're working with moms who are just completely frazzled, and they have such peace of mind, and for them to not even get the courtesy of like a call or anything, that just was very frustrating.
Andaluz director Carrie Duncan told KGW last week that the center has been around since 1999, but was sold to Birth Partners Incorporated in 2021. And Andaluz, not the only birth center owned by BPI to close recently. Multiple centers across the country have also shuttered.
We don't do this for the money, but we can't do it without money, and that's exactly where we're at. So we are like everyone else, living paycheck to paycheck, basically, and now we haven't been paid since May 22nd.
A lot of the midwives here, it's their calling in life. And so I just really hope that they can continue with that calling and find a place where they can continue to flourish and do their thing that was such a blessing to us.
The Gondoras also attending the goodbye party for Andaluz, saying it had an incredible impact on their lives.
Pretty shocked, especially so the suddenness of it.
So my heart just goes out to all of the mothers and the expecting mothers who were planning to be here in 2 weeks and no longer are able to. So there's like a sadness to it.
And a request for comment to Birth Partners Incorporated has gone unanswered. John?
All right, our Jake Holter tonight. Jake, thanks so much for that report. Well, the death toll continues to rise following catastrophic back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela as the search intensifies to locate survivors. At least 1,400 people are dead and tens of thousands are still missing across the country. Search and rescue teams from around the world are arriving to assist in response efforts, digging through the rubble and navigating constant aftershocks, which are slowing down efforts. More than 3,000 families have lost their homes.
Arriving and just imagine your family is inside and having absolutely no help. It's very sad. Well, we've called on the whole world that can collaborate with Venezuela. It says, honestly, from the heart, in the name of all of Venezuela, please, we beg you, please help. To the whole world, please help us.
Hospitals are struggling to treat the injured due to decades of neglect in Venezuela's healthcare system. More than a dozen were damaged in the quakes. And back in our area, local Venezuelans are doing their part to raise money and critical supplies to send abroad. We got these pictures today showing the donations given to 2 Portland restaurants. It's in partnership with the nonprofit Venezuela's Voice in Oregon. And a little housekeeping here. If you want to donate to groups supporting the relief efforts in Venezuela, make sure it's a well-established group by using the IRS's search tool. Also make sure to pay using a credit card, since those payments are more likely to be insured. The U.S. military has released video of the newest strikes carried out in Iran. CENTCOM saying the strikes on Friday were in response to an Iranian drone attack on a commercial ship in the Strait of Hormuz, and that Iran violated the newly signed ceasefire agreement. Today, Iran carried out retaliatory attacks, striking targets linked to, quote, American aggressor forces. No specific target was identified, but Bahrain, which hosts the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet, later condemned what it said was an Iranian drone attack on its territory. Meanwhile, demonstrators used the Iran-Egypt World Cup match in Seattle on Friday to draw attention to political unrest in the country. Organizers of the demonstration, called United for Iran's Freedom, held rallies across Seattle. Organizers said they intentionally timed the protest to coincide with the World Cup match. They hope to use the international spotlight to raise awareness about freedom and human rights in Iran.
Reality is we love soccer, but we broke that taboo as Iranian. As long as this team representing the regime, we are not supporting them. We're here to show who we are, what we believe. Is just we want this regime to go.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard now saying that if it is struck again by the U.S., it will broaden its strikes in the region, while Vice President Vance, who was at the peace talks in Switzerland, now saying violence will be met with violence. Well, we have a tragic update following a house fire Thursday in Hillsborough. The 2 people rescued have died of their injuries. It happened just before 1:45 Thursday afternoon on Southeast Oak Street. Crews say that fire was especially dangerous. Firefighters had to rescue the victims from the second story, working in heavy smoke and flames. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A new government report provides new details on a deadly small plane crash near Hillsborough. The NTSB citing 2 pilot witnesses who say they saw the plane's nose lifting off while on the runway and some abnormal engine noises before the plane crashed down to the ground. The single victim was the pilot, 49-year-old Keith Irwin. Investigators say he was piloting an experimental plane. The wreckage is still being examined. And an update on a crash yesterday in Southeast Portland. Portland police now say they've arrested the driver, Michael Solomon, for DUII. It ended with an SUV crashing into a bus stop and a building exterior, though somehow no one was hurt. Now, this was at 142nd and Division. Firefighters say it didn't damage the building, which is a storage business. The car instead destroying an electrical box. Well, it was women coaching women at this year's Tualatin Valley Fire Camp. Women from the ages of 16 to 22 learned firsthand what it's like to use the jaws of life and climb to the top of a fire engine aerial ladder. Libby Dowsett takes a look at the action.
Do you see how we created a nice gap?
Destruction is on the itinerary at this year's Tualatin Valley Fire Camp. For young women aged 16 to 22, learning firsthand what it's like to use tools like the jaws of life.
It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel like I'm able to do this, especially a woman of color, someone who's on the shorter side, someone who's not very strong. Like seeing people teach me how I can do this, even if I don't have the skills of like a grown man, it makes me feel empowered that I'm able to do anything.
Even climbed to the top of an engine aerial ladder.
When I was going up, I kept pausing. I was literally hyperventilating up there.
But with a firm support system on the ground, the campers are able to strive to new heights.
How was it? It was so fun, yeah.
And you can see it in their eyes. They're really scared when they first start, and then by the end of it, they're like, I want to do that again.
Lieutenant Jennifer Turner has been a firefighter for nearly a decade and says seeing the bonding among these young potential firefighters makes her appreciate her own team.
I wouldn't be able to handle the, just the stress of the job and the night calls, the getting up for fires, for motor vehicle crashes or anything if it wasn't for them.
She says these campers are learning with a little grit and a good attitude, they can do anything.
Despite what anyone says or despite what I think, I am always capable of doing anything. Whether I am capable right now or one day will be, if I keep trying, I'll be able to do it eventually.
In Sherwood, Libby Dowsett, KGW News.